Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We're going to talk about a controversy. It's been an ongoing controversy, but right now it's been a big deal for the Penn State Women's Swim team that a male swimmer, he'd been on the male team for 3 years, now came out, said he's a woman, and now he's swimming on the women's team. Yeah, there's a little bit of requirements with testosterone and all, but he's been in a male body, and it's a long, lanky male body for his whole life, and he's shattering the women's records, and the women are saying, this is not fair. We want to swim, we want to compete, we want to do well in our sport. It's complicated. I just grabbed a little quick clip of the male swimmer who, well, he's saying he's female now, but let's watch.
I came out then to my entire team early in the fall of 2019, and I then loved swimming and wanted to keep swimming. And so that 2019-2020 school year, I was in a very awkward phase where I was on the men's team, but transitioning to a woman, basically.
Okay, he's shattering the women's records. It's not fair. And this is what I want to say. I worked in the field of social work to help people that whatever help they need, and there's all different categories there, but I will not support making fun of somebody or hate speech. This person has issues that he has struggled with, and it hasn't been easy for him, but this is not the solution. This isn't fair. There's such a thing called dysphoria, where you are disconnected with reality. For some people, a lot of people are familiar with anorexia, where somebody could maybe look like a skeleton and they think they're grossly overweight. Mm-hmm. There are conditions where people disconnect with reality. We don't need to get into that, but let's just talk about what's happening at Penn State. This is continually going on with women's sports.
This has to be hard, I would think, on every level. It has to be hard for the transgender person. It has to be hard for the other athletes. It's just when I went to high school, this wasn't an issue, or college. This wasn't even.
We never
a
heard of
thing.
it.
Right.
We never heard of it. And the women on the team are
tough.
being told by their coach. A couple of them have gone on air. They've anonymously, but they're speaking out publicly, some of them, and they're saying the whole team is not happy with it. But they said, but coaches like to win, and they've been told, whether you like it or not, this is the way it is. This person is a member of our team, and we're going with it.
I think a lot of people have taken the thought of everything in life is a choice, and they've disfigured that too. We were all given a perfect body, and when you start making changes to it, you can't expect everybody to agree with your choice. Just like if I choose to make omelets and you're allergic to eggs, you're not going to buy into what I'm serving for breakfast. It's like, I'm not buying in to him thinking, I'm sorry, I'm going to say him. You look, you listen, and you see the results, and this is a person who has chosen to alter. I can't think of the correct word. The word distorted comes into my mind all the time. To make the changes that are unnatural. And natural means what nature intended, what God intended, what was meant to be from the beginning. And if we go back to the very beginning, the Bible said, created a man and a woman, not a man and a woman and a half in between, and all of those types of things. So to say that you get a privilege to compete with these gals, and all the gals don't have the same privileges, they don't have the same, what's the word to look for? An advantage, maybe, is more correct.
He has a physical advantage.
That's what I'm saying.
Men
He has
are
testosterone.
stronger,
faster. He has a male body, so he's stronger, he's faster. That's what he was born with. He competed on the men's swim team for 3 years, and whatever is going on in his life, the fact is that tens of thousands of people regret trying to transition to the other sex. Yes. Oftentimes, there's only so much you can do to try to go back to what you were. That this is a moment in time. This is how he feels. I'm not trying to diagnose him or say what his future is going to look like, but let's just look at where he's been. He's a male swimmer, and he was a very successful male swimmer and set records there. So didn't Title IX for women's sports make it so that women have a right? Do I have the wrong title?
No, that's right.
Okay, so they have a right to compete and have the advantage of playing in women's sports.
Yes.
So that you can be a woman and compete successfully. Well, all of a sudden they've thrown a wrench in here and saying that men can compete in women's sports, because the reality is, you talk about science, you want to talk about reality, he's a male. He's got male chromosomes, he was born male, he has a male body. That's the reality. Everybody shouldn't have to play along because now there's a disconnect that he's suffering from.
Well, there's a lot of legislation. You know, we had some here in North Dakota. South Dakota right now is kind of in the spotlight. I saw a news clip that came out today.
Yeah. Okay.
And Kristi Noem is trying to address it. She was on with Tucker Carlson, and this is part of their exchange.
You're saying the NCAA threatened you, and you don't think you can win that fight. They said, if you sign this, we won't allow girls in South Dakota to play, and you don't think you can win in court, even though the public overwhelmingly supports you nationally, and so you're caving to the NCAA. I think that's what you're saying.
No, that's not right at all, Tucker. In fact, you're wrong completely.
Okay.
I've been working on this issue for years.
how.
In fact, several years ago, I fought USDA to make sure that 4-H rodeo and that the sport of rodeo could keep girls' events, and boys' events, boys' events.
Okay, that's a video on the bill that she introduced and then backed off on because of the NAACP last year.
NCAA.
NCAA, huh?
All those
Okay.
acronyms.
I know, letters everywhere, you know. So anyway, she backed off thinking, okay, I don't want to put us in a situation where we're going to lose, but she is coming back with new legislation, so let's watch this.
Listen, I'm sick and tired of the NCAA threatening states, challenging us, and bullying us. And so we're going to build a coalition of leaders, athletes, and people who want to protect women's sports and want to make sure that our women keep Title IX in place to protect their right to be competitive and to be rewarded by participating in these team sports, and make sure this coalition can fight the NCAA to make sure we're protecting Title IX.
So they are assembling a coalition.
Yes.
To prepare, because right now the public opinion, or at least the people that are in power, are not sympathetic to fairness in this way. They're saying, no, to be equal, we have to let whatever you identify as, that's the sex you can compete in.
Maybe they need a third, like an open sporting group. I don't know.
Well, that's a good thought. You know, when you consider that. If it doesn't matter to you, and it doesn't matter to you, and it doesn't matter to the trans person, and y'all want to get on your own team, it's no different than intramural sports, junior high school.
I have an idea. So let's say this guy's a male. He's been a male swimmer, but he's feeling female. Fine. We'll let those kind of people that identify as female, you can still be on the men's team. You still can compete. And we'll recognize you. What?
Was he kicked off the men's team?
No.
I didn't see that happening.
No, he didn't get kicked off. No,
So
he wouldn't.
Again, there's another
He
choice.
wouldn't get kicked off. You got a male body. Look, that's how you were born. Whatever you think you are, we're not going to argue that. But we will say you did come into this world with a male body. We will allow you to swim on the male team. Whatever you think, if you feel you're a female, we'll give you your female name. You can identify as a female, but you still get to swim on the male. Let's go by bodies and chromosomes and not by what you feel like. Doesn't that make sense?
There's some sense there, and there's some nonsense.
And we can insist that we are respectful to people.
Yes.
Because we're all going through something.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is, we're not going to be hateful or make fun of people.